a face stream, but I kind of felt like doing one today, and then I found out that one of my friends is depressed because of their ex. So it was not a good thing because they were really depressed. And when I say really depressed, they were saying that they wanted to give up on things. So I wanted to just share this with you guys because I know right now it's the holiday season. It's still considered the holiday season. And sometimes people feel, sad or lonely because they don't have loved ones or they're not in relationships right now. And it can just be, pretty hard on people. So, this person was in a relationship for quite some time. They really loved this person. And for reasons, these two individuals broke up. Now, this person could have moved on, but instead of moving on, they were just kind of clinging on this one person. And I was, hearing about this. It seemed like they didn't make an attempt to move on. And it just kind of, I just thought to myself, like, if you are focusing all your energy on one single person and you can't get them back, you are not helping yourself find new happiness or new opportunity, shall I say. So it's been like a number of years, and these individuals, they weren't married or anything like that, but this person really cared about this person, and I think just the holidays got to them. So for this individual, I have sincere worry about them. And the worry I have is if they have so much of their worth tied into another person and they can't advance forward because it's like they're just so used to being around that person, it's not mentally healthy for them, especially because they're not in a good place. And it's hard for me to tell a person like, hey, you should just look forward. You should continue to work on yourself. You should, find more friends or find new friends or find new opportunities. Because if you just kind of stay in your head, and I say this as a person who has had, depressive periods, who has had anxiety issues, if you just kind of stay in your head and you just like fixate on something and you don't change anything, then your situation doesn't change at all. And for this individual, I've seen them replay things in their head over and over and over, and they just harp about things that happened in the past. And this wasn't a good breakup, by the way. This was not a good breakup. It was a very toxic relationship. But for whatever reason, it's like they're still drawn like a moth to the flame. So this this person, how they are, I've seen this in several people in my life, and it kind of bothers me because I've seen people in really bad relationships. And when I mean really bad, like they're always fighting, they get into like crying, yelling matches. It's like they love hard but they hate hard as well, and then they just get it convoluted in their brain that fighting is normal and getting into fights means more attachment because you're more emotionally invested in this. I don't think it's healthy at all. I have an ex who was in a relationship like this, and I remember they were telling me how much they sacrificed for this one person. It was they would do a lot of things for this one person, and this person ultimately cheated on them, didn't treat them with respect. And when they found out that the person that they moved on to didn't like them, right? Like they dropped them like a sack of like hot coals after they realized that they got this person away from their boyfriend. They ran back to my ex. And I it's like I understand, like when he was telling me about this, like I kind of understood why he might feel emotional connection to a person like that. It's just so much emotional investments. But it comes down to this, right? Do you think that person thinks about you a lot? Do you think that a person who respects you would treat you in a certain way? So that friend who was depressed, I think like you're wasting all this mental energy on a person. This person has obviously moved on. It why are you just like punishing yourself mentally over this? Like it just doesn't make sense to me, because there is no way of changing that, with that person being that they're toxic, being that they were always fighting. I just don't understand why you would why you would waste more of your life energy and more of your mental energy on a person like that. But I understand that habits die hard. For the people that I do know that run to like people in bad relationships, it just it's like a cycle, and it breaks my heart, because it's like I see these cycles of, we got into a big fight, there was a crying fit, there was a lot of fighting going on, and then it's like people come together, and then it's like you got one person who is just obviously, not in a good headspace, and they kind of like relive the past sort of thing. And yeah, I've heard about a number of people, especially now, where they're just kind of reliving about how things were in the past, or an ex, or people that they've separated from, and yeah, it just isn't worth it. So going with that, if any of you are have headspace with an ex in your past, I would highly suggest for 2021, move forward. Focus on yourself, because if you're focusing all this headspace on a person, I can almost guarantee you, if that person is not reaching out to you, that person does not give a crap about you. I'm being honest here. Like, if a person cares for another person, my opinion is that they would reach out. They would say, "Hey, we didn't work out. Let's try to make this work again." It's thinking about these people, being depressed over these people, and not trying to make a better life for yourself, even in relationships or your own personal life, does not do any good service to you. And I think that with the shutdown happening, or people kind of staying indoors, we're not going to see people who we're gonna see more people who are getting depressed, who remember, like, oh, I remember when I went out to so and so place, and I used to meet like a lot of people, and there was like no social distancing stuff, there was no like face mask stuff. And yeah, these are different times. I remember when like this situation was like in the early stages, someone went up to me and they asked me, how could they meet women with what's going on, because the bars were closed, the restaurants were closed. It's not like people are really hanging out in a nightclub for a long period of time, with a drink, or some guy can approach a woman and say, hey, da 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 da, and people are a lot more cautious of that. But I think that people are going to be going more on like online dating or so. Maybe Zoom. I don't know. Like Bumble? I don't know. I don't know what those like online dating things are, but that if you want to date someone, then I would suggest like figure I don't know where people are going to right now. I'm still like out of touch with that scene. But I'm sure there's like a lot of people who are maybe on like Match.com or some kind of online dating thingy majingy. Anyway, the thing is that during this time, if you do not want to do online dating, my recommendation would be focus on yourself, work on yourself, make sure you're in a good headspace, clear out whatever's in your freaking mind about your ex, because like that person, they're just basically like a how would I say it? They're like basically a cloud, and they always mention their freaking ex, and it's like when I read this stuff, I'm like, oh geez, I know this, like they broke up a number of years ago, but gosh, you're not really helping yourself out if all you just harp about is like these good memories you had with your ex, or your fights that you had with your ex. It's like I think people can smell that. They can sense if someone is not over someone, and if you're clinging on to a person because that was your last relationship and you didn't really want to put yourself out into another relationship, and it's making you depressed because you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm sad because I remember I used to go out on dates with a certain person, and now I'm not going out on dates anymore. I'm just staying at home, or even before the situation, like they were just staying at home. It's not it's not good. It's not good. So just I would recommend find find something that if you have someone in your headspace that shouldn't be there, like empty that space out. And my belief is that if you have people who leave your life for whatever reason, it's actually a good thing because it makes space for new people to come in. And for me, like there's been like people that I used to talk to a lot, and now I don't really talk to them anymore because sometimes these people's personalities have changed for the worse. So when I don't, like they turn into like not like people that I don't think that would add to my life, mentally, or they're just yeah, like they've gone off and they're lost to the point that if I try to save them, they actually turn against me. And those kind of people, although it makes me sad, I've touched on a few of those people in my life. It's if they do not want me to kind of bring them back on a path that where they were happier, then that's on them. Like some people, and what I'm touching on is like some people they end up in relationships, and these new girlfriends, boyfriends, that kind of thing. They get this mental stronghold, and they see their relationship as their only safe haven. So anybody who criticizes their relationship, anybody who their new significant other doesn't approve of becomes the enemy. And it's very sad to see this kind of stuff. It's very sad when someone has vested all their time and all their energy into a single person and made everybody else the alien. And it's unhealthy because when you have so much vested into one single person, oh, hello. When you have so much vested into one single person, if anything happens to that relationship, these people go down a mental like spiral downwards. And there's one person in particular that whenever they're having like relationship problems, like really bad freaking relationship problems, they reach out to me out of the blue. And these are people who never ever ever speak to me otherwise. Like they will not ask me, how are you doing, Erica, or what have you been up to. It's just like, oh, I need some advice about my crappy relationship, and then I tell them about the I tell them about it. And then it's like once things are better, then they just leave my life. And I remember feeling so sad about it for the longest time. I'm gonna be honest, like sometimes I still feel sad about this because I knew this person for a number of years. But when you see people like that, you cannot save them. And it's just like a relationship, if it ended, if the other person doesn't want to get back with you, right? Like you shouldn't keep them in your mind for years, because as far as they could have been moved on. They could be trying to find someone else, or maybe you don't hear about them because they don't mention on like social media or something, but they're dating someone very privately and you think they're single but they're really not. Yeah, so yeah, so basically they use you as a free counselor or therapist. Yeah, yeah, so you'll have some people like that. And I think that, as with what's going on right now, we're gonna see more people who are depressed and more people who feel alone. And I would say, fall back on yourself, fall back on your friends, fall back on your family, but just don't waste freaking mental energy on, especially on a person who doesn't care about you in that way. Yeah, if you just try to relive the past in your mind, it's just gonna make you more depressed. It really is. Yeah, let go of the things that you love. I think everything happens for a reason. I think that when you have people who just when like they're not in a good headspace, they try to they associate like better times with a person. Oh, the like that kind of thing. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just talking about one of my friends. They're all depressed about an ex. They've been harping about this ex for a number of times. So it's like I hear about their life and I hear about things, but I never hear about them trying to date a new person. It's always like, oh, well, I want to find a person who is like this, and then their mindset just focuses back on the frickin' X. And it's not good, you know? It's like I said, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're preventing yourself from finding happiness. And yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. If we broke up, I would double down on my Apple stock. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you guys because I think we're gonna see more depressed people, more depressed individuals. We're gonna see people as I know the shutdown has been for quite some time, but I think we're gonna see more people, especially like because it's still considered holiday season and then it gets kind of gloomy and dark. They're gonna get stuck in their head, and I completely understand it. You know, I really believe seasonal effect. I think it's called seasonal affective disorder. I believe in that completely. We have actually one of those like very lights. It's a light that's supposed to help reduce depression, and I think it works. You know, I think it works. I don't really use it, but it's like basically like a floodlight that shines at you, and you're supposed to use it for I think about 30 minutes, and it's supposed to like help boost your mood. It's very scary when people are depressed and then they just get trapped in their head. I say this as from someone in personal experience. Like sometimes if you are depressed, it just kind of cripples you with anxiety, and then you don't move forward. And if you don't move forward, you get trapped in your head. And as I said before, right? If there is no change going on, then there will be no change in the future. If you continue to just kind of wallow in the past, let's say about an ex, wallowing privately or wallowing is not gonna bring your ex back to you. And then think about it logically. If you and your ex broke up and it's been a number of years and there was no reconciliation, then it's probably a sign that you should that's why you guys broke up. Obviously that person didn't want to be with you, and they've moved on. I can't imagine, like, if you have two people, right? And you broke up like a number of years ago. I can't imagine like both people being all like, "Oh yeah, I want to get back with them, but I'm only going to spend all my mental energy thinking about them and not doing anything." And I see that with some other people as well, you know, in their relationships. If things end, then you got one person who's like, "Oh, you know, I remember how happy I used to be with you." And it's like they relive things that happened like years ago, and it's because they're lacking in their own life. For instance, right? You got some people who will save things like if they're feeling sad, right? They're gonna save maybe like a postcard that they exchanged a couple of years ago, and they're gonna look at that postcard and be like, "I remember how happy I was when I was with so and so, and we went to Florida and then we went to the beach, and my life sucks right now, and I wish I was with so and so because I was so happy back then." Like, that is not helping yourself. And I hope, I hope that if any of you are in that state, then you break out of that cycle, because getting lost inside of your head on a period in the past, it's not healthy. It really isn't. You're not going to be you're going to find that time goes forward, and you might end up like some other people that I know, where you end up single for a number of years, and you just like look back at your previous relationship and think, "Oh, I remember how happy I was back in that previous relationship. Oh yeah." And these aren't, I know a spouse is on a different level, but if you're just dating for, let's say, 1 or 2 years, and then you dedicate the next like 5 years thinking about that kind of thing, that is not healthy. That is not healthy in my opinion. There's just so much other things that you could do with that headspace, and I know it's tough. I know it's tough, but yeah, I always think, like, if you were, let's put it this way, like if you were to meet, um let's see, how would I say this? Let me give me a thing. Okay, let's say this, right? Let's say you like a person who's who's like Scarlett Johansson, right? Let's just say Scarlett Johansson, okay? I know she's married, I know she's taken, but let's just say like someone on that level, right? And then you're thinking about your ex, and you just kind of remember like, oh, I remember when I went to hang out with them on Florida. We had this great time at the beach and things like that. And then there might be a person who freaking looks like Scarlett Johansson or is, single, like a unicorn or so, right? And that person, you might see them, but you might not make a move because you're just kind of lost in your head about your freaking ex. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So sometimes I see people, and they get so caught up on things that happened in the past that they don't move forward, or they don't try to make connections in the future, because they're just thinking like, oh, I just remember what happened a few years. Yeah. So, let's see. What is this? I miss my ex, but my aim is getting better. You know what? I think exes happen for a reason. I think that, like, for my relationships, my all my relationships that I've had, I haven't had that many, by the way, but all my relationships, I can say that each relationship I became a more aware, more conscious person, and I knew exactly what I would and would not tolerate. So for instance, I had a relationship where this one person, they were highly into luxury goods. And when I mean highly into luxury goods, they had like a luxury car, they had the luxury watches, they had the luxury shoes, and they were not rich. Okay, I knew their income, I knew my income at the time. I was making more money than them, but the thing is that they spent all their freaking money on the designer stuff, and that has influenced me in the way that you see me, and it's, you don't see me like being like, oh, I want this luxury freaking item. Like, the only thing I guess that I have that's really kind of like a status symbol is my MacBook. But that's it. This is an 8-year-old computer. I have seen what happens when people spend their money on luxury items and they can't afford it comfortably, right? And it gets to a point where they have so much freaking luxury items, and yes, they might feel cool, or like better than other people with the expensive watch, like with the Rolex watch. But it's not a good feeling to look at one's bank account and then realize, hey, I'm broke because I spent all my money on my on luxury items like LV stuff. Yeah, it's like if you resell it, you're not gonna, it's not an investment. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see me buy luxury items. If I did buy a luxury items, there'll be a really freaking good reason why I'm buying that specific item. But I choose to try and do investments rather than have like physical, like, like these items where these marketers or these manufacturers trying to implant in your brain, like, if you buy these items you will have more worth. But that's not true. I don't believe in buying an item and then having it, like, having that item as your confidence thing. Like, don't just get a watch and think like, if I buy this expensive watch, all of a sudden people are going to think I'm confident. Because I can tell you from personal experience, if you take off that watch and you're a different person and you don't feel that confident, or you don't have that kind of mindset, that is not sustainable. That's just my thoughts though. So that's what I learned from that relationship. It ended after they threw something at me. They caused an issue, and then they threw something at me, and then they told me to clean it up. And like mentally, when I saw that, like, I checked out, and I was in this relationship for about a year or so. I think it was like a year or 1.5 years, but I know it was at least a year. But what I'm trying to get at is that, like, from that relationship, that's what I learned about that shaped my views on luxury items. That also shaped, like, if anybody tries to throw anything at me, then yeah, I'm out of there, like sayonara kind of thing. So when you get out of these relationships, obviously take a step back and say, well, what could I have learned from this relationship? How can I make myself more aware for, let's say, like the next relationship? You don't want to be with a person who throws things at you. You don't want to be with a person who is so fixated on luxury goods that all they want to do is, just, yeah, it's like, I Yeah, that's why I'm not big on luxury items. If a person has a luxury item, I don't see a problem with that if they can afford it. But I see so many people going to freaking debt because of luxury items. And if you're really financially stable, you shouldn't be wiped out just buying like a little designer handbag. You see? Like, oh, the financial stability has to be more than a freaking like a handbag. And I've seen women, and I've shared this with you guys before. Like, I had a friend, an ex friend. We don't talk anymore because we had a falling out over this thing. They they wanted to buy an LV bag. It was I think it was a Keepall, the one with the handles like this. It was like one of those like limited edition, and they were just only having it for like seasonal or something. They had money for college, and instead of spending their money for that college semester, they decided to spend their money on the Louis Vuitton handbag. And I remember, like, when I found out about it, I was, I basically told them, like, how could you be so reckless like this? Because when they had spent their money on the Louis Vuitton handbag, they had no money for college, so they hit up their boyfriend. Their boyfriend didn't have any money, so they hit me up. And I was like, you're out of your freaking mind if you think I'm gonna loan you money for college because you spent your money on a Louis Vuitton handbag, right? And then they tell me, "Oh, Erica, you can't tell me what to do with my money." And from there, I was like, "Okay, you don't want to recognize what you did. You don't want to like think about returning it or trying to return it. No." And I just like stopped talking to them because for a person with that kind of mindset to just be very short-sighted and just see like the luxury item dangling in front of them and be like, "Oh, my luxury item is more important than my college career." Yeah, that's not a person I want to associate myself with. We will all learn that you will not tolerate open who rips plastic bags that is not a cat. What do you mean? Oh, are you talking about like the way he yeah, he's just like he has a plastic bag, right? He'll rip the top, you know the part where you have to open it up. He'll rip it like 95% and have this like plastic phallic shape just like dangling over. So I tell him, I'm like, rip the freaking thing off, you know? Like if you're gonna do this whole rip thing, like rip the thing off so it doesn't look like when I'm looking at the bag, it's like this phallic item just kind of dangling whenever he's using it. But for whatever reason, he doesn't want to do that. And yeah. Let's see. So Emily said, what I learned is just because someone is good as bed doesn't override their personality." So 7 months of my life wasted. Yeah, you gotta find a person who's like multifaceted, not just good at one thing and then they have like crappy other things as well. And I think sometimes what's kind of dangerous is that you have people who put so much weight on one certain thing and then they kind of forget other things. So you have certain people who, for instance, right, they're so fixated on how they look like that they are unable to see how ugly they are on the inside. And or I've met certain people like that. Like they'll spend all this time and energy on their looks, and then once they open their mouth and once you hear what's coming out of their mouth, it's just terrible. It's like it's this kind of like ugly personality. And for me, when I look at a person, I don't look at just the outside. I look at like the whole freaking package. Because that's what really matters. So when you're in a relationship, right? You cannot just like focus on a person's look. Like for instance, right? If you are with a person who is physically attractive, but they don't have a good heart or they don't have a good mind, what happens when they lose their looks? Like that is a very, very valid point in my opinion. I think that people who are so fixated on looks need to kind of grow another brain cell because you can always make a person or encourage a person to look better. So for instance, right, if a person has, let's say, a unibrow, right, you can say, "Hey, I think you'll look better if you like wax your unibrow or you shaved your unibrow off." And it's like small changes like that. If a person is a little overweight, you guys can exercise together, you guys can encourage healthy eating, things like that. But if you are with the person who has an ugly personality and is just a vile person, there's really no fixing that. You can't polish, you can't polish a turd. It's, I mean, like it's hard. And the people who focus on their looks and they don't focus on, let's say, how they treat people and their minds, I just think like, okay, you might end up with someone who is kind of similar, like in terms of like toxic versus toxic, but that doesn't add any value to the world. Let's see. Yeah, looks only get you so far. Like, but there are some people out there who place such an emphasis on looks. So for instance, right? Like I remember like this is like back when I was in my early 20s. I remember I was like casually dating this guy. And he was not, how would I put it this way? He was not someone who was very good looking. He was not someone who was like rich or anything like that. But he had this like mindset that he was like a big thing, like he was gonna be like a big deal and everything. And I remember like he was like the way he would treat other people and the way he would talk to other people and just kind of like look down upon them. It was like very eye-opening because I would hear him talk about other people in certain ways. Like he would tell me that when he before he came to Hawaii, people thought of him like a deity back where he was originally from. So he was from the mainland. He was not from Hawaii. He was from like the continental United States or so. So when he came to Hawaii, all his like ass kissing crowd is no longer in Hawaii. So he had like zero influence here, and as a result of that, he had a lot of like bitterness and resentment for people. He looked down upon people, and yeah. So for him, it's like he would like pick and choose or try to pick and choose like who he associated with, and then eventually it got down to like he being critical of me. And I remember he was telling me that he was just like laughing about it, but I don't think he realized how much it affected me. He was telling me that someone that he knew got she got some plus twos, if you guys know what I mean. So he told me, he said, yeah, I couldn't stop staring at her chest, Erica, because they just look great. And he told me that I should get some plus twos as well. And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I have zero desire of getting plastic surgery, but it was just like the way it was like said to me, and then the way it was just terrible. It was just terrible, and it was like something that kind of stuck with me for a while. So I'm happy that I stopped talking to them. And now they're like a fake mofo. It's like I know some people who know this person, and whenever they talk about this person, like I would just mention their name, and they'd be like, oh, I know who that person is. That person's a jerk, or that person's trying to be like a shoulder rubber. So what I mean shoulder rubber is like, this is the kind of person that if you're going into a club, they'd be like, hi, my name is blah 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 blah, you know hi, my name is blah blah blah. So they would try to like have everybody know their name, and they would try to rub shoulders with people who are influential. But I think when people see it, they can kind of tell like a person like that is just like a social climber or a leech, and they're not genuine. So the people who do know them and do know their name, there's not a lot of respect for them, unless maybe you think that they could advance your career of sorts. I don't know. I think they're kind of I think that I think a person like that is really going to not fare so well mentally, because it's hard to like kind of rub shoulders with people, and keep that like rub the shoulder influence during a situation like this. Let's see. Yeah, values is something that's very, very important. And values is, I think that people kind of need to, you don't need to be specifically on the same page, but you need to have this like mutual understanding, and you need to have like this mental ability to say, hey, people are different. I really hate people who are intolerant of certain things, like people who have intolerant views, and people are not willing to recognize that, hey, yeah, in the United States, we might have certain views about this sort of thing, but in another country, people might have certain views about something else. And we need to kind of see the differences, or kind of say like, hey, this is why we're different, and hopefully we can kind of like come together. But if not, then hopefully it doesn't have escalations. I really hate it when people who are of a different religion try to preach and talk down to people of other religions, because here's the thing. As a person who definitely recognizes there's something out there, I 100%, like, I believe there is a God out there. I believe there could be gods. There could be something out there. um but I'm not going to go preaching around saying my religion is the true religion and other people's religions are wrong. If you impose this kind of thing, and I see people on the streets, at least in Hawaii, like they would be having these like picketing signs and saying, you are going to go to the underworld because you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this. You do not convert people with such hateful rhetoric. This is like, I think they're trying to scare people into saying, okay, if you drink, then you're gonna go off to the underworld, and if you do this, then you're gonna go off into the underworld. It's just not good. So I treat people who are different than me and different religions and different viewpoints. I'm like, okay, I hope that we have this like understanding that we're all different. You guys know my views about diets. Personally, like, I'm an omnivore. That works for me. But some people out there, they might be vegan or vegetarian. If that works for them, good on them. But I do not like getting preached at, saying things like, you don't know what's going on, Erica. You don't know, you are unaware about how things. I'm like, no, 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 no. I've spent a lot of time watching these sort of things. I'm very keenly aware about animal rights. I've been looking up this stuff ever since I was in high school. So it's not like I have zero awareness about what's going on. But yeah, so I shared with you guys like a video yesterday about this one person who's just going off on this couple, and I thought, okay, you can say your message, but don't start harassing another person because their values or their thought process is different than yours. Yeah. Good looking people all dress and look alike? Not really. If you're good looking, you can you can wear all sorts of styles. I think that some people are minimalistic in style. Some people just wear all black, like I'm wearing all black right now. Other people wear like different prints. But if you're a good looking person, I think that part of the thing that makes you good looking is your personality. It's not just going to be how you physically look. I've known people, like one of the most beautiful women I've known in my life. She's 70 years old. She's over 70 years old, but she has such a beautiful soul and she has such a radiance about her. It's like even though she might have like a few wrinkles, I just think like, wow, that's someone who I want to be like when I'm 70. And she doesn't look like a supermodel, in case you guys are wondering. She's not like super svelte or anything, but her aura and the way she is and the way she treats people and the way she approaches people with such kindness, I find that to be very inspirational and beautiful. My attraction to women tends to correlate inversely with the amount of effort she places on trying to enhance her. uh some people, they like women who aren't made up, and then other people like women who are made up. How you doing is the most infamous. Hey, how you doing? I wouldn't recommend that as like a pickup line. I would just, how you doing? I don't know. Like I just think like if a guy wants to pick up a chick, like the best way to do it, in my opinion, would to be making small conversation. Let's say if you're in line, coffee or something, and say like, hey, do you know what's good here or something like that, or hey, yeah, do you know what's good here, or haven't been here before, what would you recommend? And maybe she'll be like, oh, the I don't know, the croissant or something like that, chocolate croissant, is gonna be like, oh, okay, thanks. By the way, my name is Jake. What is your name? And she'd be like, oh, my name is da 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 da. My name is Debbie. Oh, nice to meet you, Debbie. Oh, by the way, I think you're pretty cute. Do you want to grab drink sometime? I don't know. It's hard to say, like, or do you want to grab coffee sometime, even though we're at a coffee place? And like that's how you can make like a mutual connection. But see, you would need to put yourself out there. I also think though, and if you are approached by a guy, it's very, very, very important to be mindful about what you say, because sometimes if you depending on how you react, you could basically paralyze a guy from ever making a move on another woman again. So, for me, like if I am approached by another person or someone wants to talk to me, I try to be very nice and very respectful, and I don't try to like ignore them like harshly, because I know some people if they get asked about this kind of thing and they see this guy with, like, let's say anxiety, being all like, oh, hey, I just thought you were cute, so I was wondering if I could get your number. Like, if you are not mindful about that kind of crap and you tell the guy like, no, I don't want to give you my number, like, no, I don't want to talk to you, like, that guy, that poor guy is not going to want to talk to another woman ever again, and like code approach her, maybe, because sometimes these people, it's like they're not always being like a pickup artist, right? They're just like, oh, I'm gonna summon up the bravery to talk to someone, and if that person like rejects me, they're just gonna replay it in their head, like you don't want to be that person who rejects another person, and then they remember how like you looked at them with such disdain or disgust. You're like, no, I don't want to give you my number. Like, bug off, like that, and also that doesn't make a positive change in the world. If you're just like, if you're gonna treat a person like that who's trying to approach you and so coldly, and just be like, yeah, you're beneath me, I don't want to talk to you, like, buzz off, that kind of thing, then that's not good. And see, but you will have creepy people talk to you. I've had that in New York, and it's like when I look at how people are in New York versus Hawaii, I realize like people in Hawaii, like, bless their hearts, like the guys there are so awkwardly sweet. They're kind of, how would I say it? They are the guys that I met in Hawaii, or who tried to speak to me, it's like you could tell like they don't have that much experience doing this stuff, and they're just like, oh, I was just hoping that maybe we could get coffee sometimes, or maybe we could grab lunch sometimes. It's like those guys. It's like I see that, and like when I came over to New York, it's like I'm just like walking down the street trying to get groceries or something. It it's like on a whole different level. It really is. So yeah, it's like the guys in New York. They are, how would I say it? They're not as respectful. They're more lewd. Yeah, but I did meet one person who did try to talk to me, and they went up to me, and they were very respectful. And this guy, I remember this guy was wearing a suit. This guy was wearing a suit, and I was like, oh, and they were talking to me while I was moving stuff. I think I was moving stuff into the new store or something like that. I can't remember. It was like something like that, but I remember some one of the employees saw it. Hold on, hold on. It was pretty awkward. But that was the only time, the only respectful person who's ever approached me, ever. So if you want to approach a woman, be respectful. Don't be like, I don't want to say like a horn dog, but you know what I'm saying, like treat a person, if you want to approach them with respect, and be nice. Smile, be nice, be friendly, treat them like a person. Don't just treat them like an object with like two legs walking down the street. Yeah, the guys in Hawaii, like, bless their hearts. Like, I look back at them like, gosh, those guys in Hawaii, they need to have a little bit more confidence, just a little, but it's like awkwardly cute. It's like, oh hey, yeah, oh I think you're cute. I just wanted to tell you that. It's like, okay. Let's see here. Oh, really? What was the George Carlin's view on religion? Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, anonymous individual said one of the most beautiful women I've ever known has a PhD in physics. Always wears a t-shirt, shirts, and never really makeup. See, that is true beauty. True beauty is when your beauty is able to radiate from your skin, and people remember that. Like there are people that I've known that they are not considered lookers, but the way they treat others and the way that they convey things, you just can't help but be attracted to them. My name is Geraldine Hugo. Are you aware that you live in a radius of 10 miles, live twice a month in a 1,000-mile radius when you're in Hawaii? Um, Yeah, there's I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't see that many people walking down the street. And normally when I was outside in Hawaii, I'd be like walking to the grocery store to buy food. I'd be walking over to the shopping mall. I used to go shopping a lot in Hawaii, but here's the thing. It wasn't like I was spying a lot of stuff. It's like I just like browsing. I like walking into stores, seeing what they have, going into like department stores and be like, "Ooh, look at this cute little hat. Like this hat is cute." Yeah, I'd be more of those window shopper type. So, um, I'd go shopping like every week or like 2 times a week, or I'd like eat at the food court. If you guys are familiar with like Ala Moana Shopping Center, and yeah, that was my cardio. My cardio would be walking around a shopping mall, looking around, seeing the new items, seeing what's for sale, and then just going back home. Pick up artist Erica channel when. Let's see here. Okay, so Tim is saying it's interesting the difference in how people based on the area. Like here, if you ever approach a girl, they will act like you're the worst person in the world. Really? Really? I think you know what? Okay, here's the thing. If you are, what I would suggest is that it's also based on two things. It's not just what you say, but it's also how you convey yourself. So I think it's really important personally for someone to wear something like if you're a guy, I would say wear like a better, like don't wear like a bummy looking shirt. Wear something like a dress shirt, wear something like a polo shirt, because you're going to feel more confident approaching women looking like that. Like if I'm wearing something like a ratty old t-shirt, and let's say I was a guy, I was wearing a ratty old t-shirt, I would not want to approach a woman wearing a ratty old t-shirt. So you gotta like, I think like if you dress like business casual, you'll get a lot more success. And then sometimes like women, if they see a guy, it's women could just, I don't know like the women in your area, but I know sometimes like women will be like, oh, that guy looks like it looks like he isn't, like he doesn't take care of himself or something like that. I don't know, like some guys, like they're very outdoorsy, so they're always, they might like, or they might be a painter, they might have like paint all over them. If you want to approach a person, I would say you really want to put your best foot forward, and you want to actually feel your best too. So for me, I feel much better not wearing, you know bummy looking clothes. Like I have clothes that look bummy. You guys know that. But if if you wanted to like approach a person, you don't want to feel like bummy, because if you wear like home clothes and you look bummy, and you're let's say you see a beautiful woman down the street, like you don't want to approach a woman like that, like feeling like you're bummy. Because then I think mentally it also sends the message. Like if you feel like you already look like a bum, you're not gonna want to approach that woman, and maybe that woman is open to speaking to you, but you're not gonna make the chance because you feel like a bum. So I would say heavily think about getting things like business casual, wearing like a not like a dress shirt or like a polo shirt or a V-neck or just like uh, like tailor your wardrobe so it's a little bit more elevated. And when in doubt, just wear just wear like a black shirt. But I would say for a guy, it's it really goes far wearing something like business casual. I'm not. You don't have to wear like name brand stuff. I know a person who they're on this like Versace kick. They like wearing their like Lanvin Versace t-shirts. I'm like, you don't need to do that stuff. Just have a shirt that fits you really well, that looks sleek, and go with that. If you look like you take care of yourself, or you're clean, or you don't look like you just rolled out of bed, that kind of stuff, you have a better chance getting like a woman's number. So let me see here. Sandbags, right? I used to actually what would I do before? I remember there was a period of time like I had those little like elastic bands that I know why I used to actually try to wear that underneath the dress and walk with that, and but that didn't last very long. As a person in Eastern Europe, if you wear proper trousers rather than track shoes or jeans, that's pretty much all you need to look smart. Yeah. I think that you could get away with jeans if you're a guy, but you would need to have it be don't have it like year 2000 jeans, because I see some guys and they look like they're gonna be in Super Mario. You know what I'm talking about? Like the jeans are so freaking baggy and you can't even tell where their kneecap is. It just looks like, yeah, yeah, don't go with those. Go with something sleek. When you think about how would I say it? Like think about a good looking Hollywood celebrity or something and just kind of mirror that. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of someone. Okay, like think about like those pop stars that you see, not the ones when they look kind of like when they're not on camera, but when they are on camera, they look like pretty good. Like Bieber, for instance, right? Bieber looks so much better when he has a stylist with him versus when he's off camera. Because when he's off camera and he's wearing this like bummy looking clothes, it's hard to believe he's the same guy. Like I think Bieber, back around like the boyfriend era, he was a very very good looking guy. But then after that, like you can kind of see like made up Bieber versus regular Bieber. Made up Bieber looks like so much better than regular Bieber. Regular Bieber, if he was walking down the street, nobody would pay attention to him. Made up Bieber, like women would swarm him, sort of thing. So it's very important to just like take care of yourself, make sure you look good, and if you need help, ask someone for help. Get some guidance. I'm sure you have like a few a few people who can like give you little pointers. And also fit is extremely important. So if you have like an item that let's say looks good on like the rack, if it doesn't fit you well, just like don't get it. Because I know some people, they get in this whole idea of, you buy a dress shirt, okay, it's a dress shirt. Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna buy it because it's a dress shirt. No, 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 no. You want to buy the dress shirt that looks good on you, because if you do not have a good looking dress shirt, the dress shirt's gonna look like crap. So you're not gonna be doing yourself a favor. In New York, I do know that they have like tailored dress shirts. They're kind of pricey, but they do have tailored dress shirts. I'm a big fan of like Banana Republic dress shirts. For shoes for guys, I really like Allen Edmonds. I think that's what they're called, Allen Edmonds. Yeah, Banana Republic makes some pretty good stuff, but I'm not really too keen on like men's clothes, so I can't tell you besides like like try go to Banana Republic and see what they have. But I'm sure they have like other things as well. I know some people they like Zara for men's suits, or some people like they look really good on stuff. So it all depends on the brands. Like for me, Banana Republic Petite fits me well. What was it? I think H&M, no, Zara fits me quite well as well, or was it H&M? I can't remember. I haven't gone there in a while. But yeah, it depends on the brand. So one brand might fit you better than another, and that's the importance of shopping. So you want to see, if you go to, let's say, H&M, and you find something good, continue to go to H&M. If you go to, let's say, Gap, I don't like Gap. I haven't had a good experience with Gap clothing. But if Gap doesn't fit you well, then try another retailer, because all these different brands or all these different retailers, they have like different cuts, and then they might have different fits. Like Old Navy stuff on me doesn't look good most of the time. So yeah, just find something that works. Another brand that I would actually highly recommend would be Uniqlo. Uniqlo is affordable. A lot of my I don't. Is this Uniqlo? I don't know. This might be Uniqlo. I can't tell from the back of my shirt. I'm not gonna take my shirt off camera. But yeah, Uniqlo has some really good stuff. Most of Lewis's shirts, I believe, are from Uniqlo. His polos and things like that. So he's a big Uniqlo fan. The only problem with Uniqlo is that not everything fits the same. So you might go through. Let's say you find a shirt that fits you well. If you go and like whenever you go to Uniqlo, always try on the clothing. Like Lewis is very good. Like he does not like trying on clothing, so he might find like a shirt that fits him well, and then he'll be like, okay, I want to buy more shirts of that. But then depending on where it's made, because I don't know, Uniqlo quality control isn't that good. Some of these shirts are like a little shorter than the other, or they're a little tighter than the other, and yeah, but Uniqlo I think is a really good pick to for men and women. They have some really nice cuts. Yeah, I have no problem. And their heat tech stuff for the winter, I love it so much. I'm a big fan of like Uniqlo jackets. Like their down jackets are quite nice. They have good heat tech stuff. They have good leggings. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, track suits are really comfortable. I like wearing athletic pants. The problem is that I just look like I look kind of bummy like that. And I remember I was wearing my track suit, and then Lewis asked me like why wasn't I dressed up more, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I was just kind of being casual here, you know. So Quicksilver over Old Navy. I'm not a big. You know what, Vladimir? Here's the thing. Like I don't know Quicksilver. When I think about Quicksilver, I think about that. That's a surfing brand, right? Try and stick with like solids. You know, go with. Yeah, I would say go to Uniqlo. Check out Uniqlo. See what they have. V-necks for men to be good. And yeah, you can like get away most of the time. Like I know some people would criticize me for this, but get away from those like freaking, those t-shirts where they got the ribbing over here. You know what I'm talking about? Like I think men, if they're single and they want to attract women, they need to stay away from that stuff, the little regular t-shirts, and try to have a more elevated thing. So yeah, that's what I would do. Buying white shirts in bulk is how I save money. Yeah, if you can buy things in bulk, that's great. That's great. But I've also seen from people that I personally know, like when you have a guy who doesn't really care about how he looks like, and then all of a sudden, he has nice clothes. It is really amazing to see how his confidence level can go from here all the way up to here. It's great because like if you're more confident in yourself, I think that people can pick up on it, and then people, like, if you want to attract like a woman's going to be more drawn to you, because she's going to say, this guy looks like he takes care of himself. He looks like he cares about how he looks like, and I know that this guy respects himself. And I think that's really important, because sometimes when you have people who don't respect themselves, like if people sense that, that's not an attractive quality. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to respect yourself. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to go out and get six pack or have big bulging muscles or anything like that. But you can do small things to take care of your skin. I believe strongly in moisturizing and serums and things like that. You guys know I've been kind of fiddle faddling with that. It's really great, by the way, to use a moisturizer. It's like my skin feels more hydrated, and when I go outside, it's like super, super drying. So that's the good thing about the winter. What is this? Corduroy pants, the real comfy. You gotta buy the good ones. Let's see here. Oh, I haven't seen like corduroy trousers in a while. Usually like I see most of the times like when I see people out on the street like around here, they just wearing jeans or they're wearing like track pants and but if you go out to like say Manhattan, you would see people wearing suits, you would see people wearing dress shirts sometimes, you would see people wearing like the belts. I mean like when you look at them, you can tell like these people care about how they look like and it's I don't know what kind of field that they're in, but it's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to send off the image like, hey, I care about me and things like that. Yeah. uh get fit and just bummy is the best look. It's like you look good and could care less about what people think. I disagree with you on that because I know people who are fit and they dress bummy, and even with the muscles, even with the gains that they have, if they dress bummy, you can kind of tell that it affects them psychologically. So I would say that if you are fit, especially, you should even have more incentive to look better because now you got that like some men, if they take care of themselves, they got the Dorito. You know what I'm talking about? Like they got the wide shoulders with the narrow waist, so they look kind of like a Dorito. You know what I'm talking about? Dorito shape. Yeah. So if you have a Dorito shape, let's say, then you should want to show off the burrito Dorito. You should want to show off the Dorito shape, and all you have to do is just get some like a well fitting shirt, and everybody can kind of notice your Dorito shape. Yeah. I don't know if that came out well, but you get what I'm saying. Like I don't like it. I think that men are doing this disservice to themselves, or women are doing this disservice to themselves when they really take care of their body, but they have clothes that aren't on the level of their body. I'm not saying like show a lot of skin. I'm saying just wear clothes that fit you well, or clothes that complement your shape. Oh my goodness, you guys. Salsa man. I don't know what salsa man. So yeah. It's about it's about being. I think if you're truly confident in yourself and you feel good about yourself, it's gonna show. And when it shows, people are going to say, "Hey, I'm attracted to that person, or I want to talk to that kind of person." If you are a single guy and you have your ex in your freaking head, the best thing you can do is put your best foot forward, not only for yourself as well, because I think that sometimes people when they kind of harp on their exes and they get depressed on their exes, it's because they think, oh well, my ex was so great, I'm never gonna get better than my ex, and yeah, I'm just me. Like, that is a defeatist attitude. People need to, if you are sad about an ex and you think you cannot do better, then you need to change that mindset, because I think people can definitely do better. If their relationship has ended, and with that, right, if they put like a concentrated effort to looking better, then they're gonna attract someone even better. I've seen people online where they end up with those revenge bodies. You know what I'm talking about? Like they end up in some bad relationship, and then after they get out of the relationship, they're like, oh, this. I'm like, they would look at themselves and realize, let's say they're 30 pounds overweight, they would feel like crap, think that they're not attractive, And but instead of just getting stuck in their head, they go out, change their diet, work out, get some complementing clothes. Next thing you know, they have a bang body, have a, they're attracting so many people, and it's because they put that investment in themselves rather than just letting someone who walked out of their life or someone who the relationship didn't work out with stay stuck in their head. So if you are in a bad relationship, my personal thought is that the best way you can get revenge on a person who is, who's treated you like crap or something, is just elevate yourself and just be successful. Whatever your definition of successful is. So yeah, did Lewis? No, he did not forget to do the dishes or anything like that. I was just in a conversation with one of my friends, so I had this kind of trail of thought in my head, so I wanted to share it with you guys because I was just thinking like, yeah, you're gonna have more people who are depressed out there, and they're gonna be thinking about their exes, and they're not gonna recognize like they are a valuable person, and that's dangerous. Like when you have a person who's so depressed, and they just get kind of stuck in their head for whatever reason, and it depending on how depressed they get, right? They might do something that they can't go back. They can you know run back and like a permanent solution, which I'm completely against them. I've had a few people in my life who did make the permanent solution, and I can tell you, that kind of thing, it leaves a huge void in the people who are living, the friends, the family. It's, yeah. And I think about this one person in particular. They were not in a good place. I think I shared it with you guys. This person was one of the smartest people that I knew in my life. I really believed that they were going to change the world. They had a full ride to to college as well, and they were taking master level classes when they were a freshman. And this person, they they had a terrible sense of fashion, and I remember that, like, they you could tell like their heart seemed like it was in a good place, but they just didn't know how to dress themselves. They were a small size, but they were wearing large clothing, so when you would see them, like, everything would be oversized. Their shirt would be oversized, their jeans would be oversized, and they were wearing slippers, t-shirt, a baggy t-shirt, baggy jeans with slippers. And I thought, oh, no, 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 we are going to change that. So I brought them over to a shopping mall, and then we bought some clothes, and their personality completely changed. I also had them do their eyebrows because they had these eyebrows that weren't looking that good. My eyebrows aren't the best, by the way, but their eyebrows, they got their eyebrows waxed a little because it was looking a little like this. So they got a little bit of arch, and they went to one of the best eyebrow waxers that I could find. And yeah, so after they got this little mini makeover of sorts, they were so confident. They were basically, yeah, their confidence was on a high, and I felt like they were in a good place. But the only downside is as they started to get cocky, and when they started getting cocky, and I decided to kind of stop talking to them. It wasn't like hard feelings. It was just like, okay, this person changed, and I felt like it was for the worse. I didn't wish them any ill will or anything. But what I didn't realize is that they started going down like a downward spiral eventually. And part of it was that they fell in love with a person, and this person was a male as well, and the family did not approve of it. And unfortunately, their husband um, passed away, and then they had a mental breakdown, and then they ended in another relationship, and that didn't work out. And instead of trying to get his footing back, instead of trying to regain his footing, unfortunately, it appears like he overdosed after his girlfriend or his ex girlfriend broke up with him. And it's one of those things like I think about pretty often, because it's like if people told me like, Erica, who do you think back in your college days would have changed the world, I would have said that person for sure. That person was so smart. They had an incredible mind. They were a nice person before they got cocky. And it is a shame that this person gave up on their life. And I found out that they passed away about 5 minutes from where I live. So when I found out that, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake. Like if I had known that they were in a bad place, I would have definitely gone out to see them. But I think they felt so alone, and then having their girlfriend or their ex girlfriend break up with them, that was just kind of like the breaking point for them. And um, I understand it, but part of me thinks like, what if they tried to regain their footing? What if they had reached out to other family members? Because there are other family members. I went to like the funeral. Well, not the funeral, the memorial, and the other family members. It seemed like they really cared for the person. It's just they pulled the plug too quickly on their own life. So yeah. So if something doesn't work out, just don't let it affect you mentally to the point that you extinguish your own future. And it's sad with that one person, because I think back on how they were, before they were cocky. I mean, I don't know how their personality was after we stopped talking. I did hear though from other people that this person was different from what I remember in from college. And I think part of it is that they were kind of beaten down. I don't think that they cared for themselves too much. I'm not going to share personal details, but I think that they stopped respecting themselves, and they stopped seeing the potential in themselves. And they once they were dumped, it's like they might have thought like, what more do they have to live for? And it's it is incredibly sad to think about it that way, because as I had mentioned, this person had such a brilliant mind. And if they just if they just had the fortitude and the drive to move on, I'm sure they would have been in a much better place now than they were back then. But they gave up on themselves. So what is my take for Lewis's color of clothes? I think I have told him this. I think that he should. I think he should wear dress shirts. I think that if you look back on his streams, like when he was doing his like drunk Jägermeister streams, his streams like back around like 2016, 2017. He wore like a dress shirt. He wore uh, you know, slacks and things like that. He looked more professional. And I think that it would be good if he returned to that kind of stuff. I understand like wearing a dress shirt is more uncomfortable than wearing, let's say, um, a, like athletic shirt or a polo. But I think it would up the image factor a little. What if I'm depressed on how badly she's doing these days? If you're depressed on how badly someone is doing, then you should reach out to them. 100%. Um, it doesn't do you any it doesn't do you any service to just see someone languish away. I understand also that sometimes, depending on how depressed a person can be, it can be too much to deal with. And I struggle with that as well. Like sometimes if people are really like in a depressed mood, it's hard for me um, to get to with them, like talk to them all the time, because then it starts affecting my mood. And I've struggled with like having like barriers sometimes. But I think that if someone is depressed, I know a few people who are depressed right now, actually. And it's because of I know a few people right now that are depressed, and part of it has to do with the economic situation, right? Economic situation, social situation. You want to support them 100%. Support them, tell them, follow up with them, see how they're doing. And make sure that they know that they're not alone. Because I think sometimes when people are depressed, they feel like they're alone. And like I mentioned before, if you get stuck in your head, it is a very dangerous place to stay in. So you need to get outside of your headspace if you're depressed and just kind of like focus somewhere else. I mean, it's hard. I've dealt with depression in the past. So I've been stuck in my brain. And the only way that I got out of my own brain is that I shifted my focus on other things as well. And then when I started actually making changes in my life, I realized that hey, my life looks a little better. So that's what I would recommend. Try and shift their focus onto something else. Maybe it would help them, and then do the same for yourself. As long as you know that you're helping a person, it's kind of hard to stay depressed. Oh no, are you kidding me? I can't do any diving for his clothes. No way. Eric, I would like your opinion on a guy who's never had a girlfriend before. They seem not to value being in a relationship. Should I try to encourage them or let them be happy? What are you trying to encourage, Pizza? Are you trying to encourage people? Sorry. Are you trying to encourage people who you want to? Do you want to date them? Is that it? Like, or do you want to encourage them to date? Can you clarify for me? I don't know if they want a relationship. I've been friends with them since middle school. Okay, okay. So, what you should do is just be upfront with them and say, hey, so and so, I really care about you. And, I would just want to know, how do you feel about me? Because I would like to date you. And leave it that thing. Just be upfront with them uh, and see what happens. But they need to make that decision, and whatever they decide to do, don't take it personally, because um, I know sometimes, like, if people try to ask another person out to be exclusive and it doesn't work out, people will be like, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. But you have to realize, like, when things do not work out, it's actually a better thing for you, because then that would free up your time to find another person who is more compatible with you. If you're interested, yeah. Oh, you always wanted to encourage him to at least try dating. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. You know what? They need to come up with that decision themselves. If they don't want to be in a relationship because they have no desire to be in a relationship, then don't push it. Then absolutely don't push it on them, because there are some people who just want to be, how would I say it? They just want to go on their own way, shall I say. And they don't want to be in a relationship. They just want to do their own thing. And some people are hermits. Some people rather just casually date. And when they decide to come to that decision, I'm sure, just let them know, hey, you know what? If you want to go out dating, if you want to go out and meet some chicks, let me know. Because I know some people that would love to meet you. But if not, you know what? That's okay. I just wanted to put it out there. So yeah, but don't push a person, because if you push someone into being all like, yeah, I think you should be in a relationship, then they might see it the wrong way. They might have a little anger towards you. So I don't like pushing people in relationships. I know some people who are single right now, and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And then see if they want to be in a relationship, usually, or not, or they tell you like, oh, they want to go out. But yeah, if so, just put it out there. If you want to meet new people, if you want to meet some single people, I can introduce you to some people, and maybe things will, maybe you'll meet more people. But yeah, just be supportive. Just be supportive, but don't be like, I think you should be in a relationship and you need to meet people. People are on their own paths. People are on their own timelines, and people work on their own time, right? I know back in the day, like, people used to get married so early on, and they used to have kids super early on, and now people are getting married at later and later ages and having kids sometimes when they're 50 years old. I think Janet Jackson had a kid when she was 50, right? Yeah. A person has to be mentally ready to be in a relationship. I know some people, like, if they want to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship, that's not a good thing because um, I know some people, they just casually date. But for people who are looking for a serious relationship, if they are with a person who's like on a different page, then that's doing a disservice to both parties. So don't just enter, I would also say don't just be in a relationship because you feel like a pressure to be in a relationship as well. Yeah, I also don't like it when some family members like they might, and this isn't for my own family, but some other family members like I read online, they'll be like, "Oh, you're getting older. You should think about settling down and having kids cuz your sister already has two kids." Like I think that's kind of obvious. Like you could say it once and that's it, or just be like, "Hey, how's dating life for you? Oh, did you meet anyone? Oh, no, not yet. Oh, well, you know what? If you do meet someone, I like to meet them, and just leave it at that. Just leave it at that, because that way they know that because that way they know that you're supportive in case they do meet someone. And let's say they want to introduce someone to their friends or their family, then you would probably be one of the first people that they may think about based on your openness to meet that person. I know sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't have any siblings, but I've heard that some people have this like pressure as they get older. Yeah, career women started freezing embryos. Yeah, there is this movie called Idiocracy that I watched years ago, and I remember thinking to myself like, this is ridiculous. And now it's like I look back at it and I see like, geez, a lot of this stuff is actually freaking true. Like, gosh, yeah, people try to hold off kids until they're older, and then when they might come a time where they're like, oh frick, it's too late, or they have concerns about, like, if you're a woman, you have concerns about egg quality, and then you start freezing your eggs and seeing what happens there. I think that if someone is career minded and they have, they don't want to be stuck on a timeline or worried about their eggs getting old when they hit 35, then definitely, if it provides mental comfort, then definitely freeze eggs. I heard it's not like the most pleasant experience to freeze an egg, and you got to pay for the procedure, plus you got to store the eggs yearly. But if you're career minded and you don't want to deal with your egg quality possibly going down, down the trash can, then it is something someone could seriously consider. Um, yeah, the best relationships are the ones that begin as friendships. I think it's because it has the the best foundation. I know this stream is like a mini therapy advice on fashion dating. Best catnip. Oh, best catnip is actually cat crack. I can't speak today. I don't know why. I can't speak. But yeah, sometimes I have things that show up in my life, and when I think about certain things, I'm like, okay, I should share with you guys as well. But if you guys ever want to ask like for advice, not just from me, but people in chat, feel free. I think that people here, it's not like one of those like big channels where you can get some trolls or something like that. But I think during this time it can be to kind of hard to get reach out to certain people. Let's see. Camacho. Never date a person who is already complete. What? And now put ants in your office? You know what you gotta do, Tim? You gotta get that can of Raid and spray it at a now. Just my personal opinion, and that way you can be sure there will be no more ants being put in your office if he did place those ants in your office. That's not a cool thing. I don't believe in this biolog this pest warfare. Or maybe he didn't clean up after his stuff and I'm misinterpreting it, and then the ants just like kind of walked in or something like that. But yeah, it's just like I. By the way, we're still battling the battle with the no-see-ums. I can't figure out where the freaking no-see-ums are coming from. I don't know why they're still coming in here. They're supposed to be gone around 62 degrees, but they're still freaking here. So I have the UV lamp inside of the bathroom, and I'm kid you not, you guys. It took me like 2 months to figure out to put the UV lamp because I was just procrastinating. So if I had done this 2 months ago, maybe I wouldn't have that many no-see-ums like kind of inside the bathroom. Yeah, it took me 2 months to move something like for a minute or two. Um, Also, I think like, as I get older, I realize like it's not hard to find people who are friendly. It's just the way that you interact with people. So for instance, right? I think of people overall as friendly individuals, and then if I see someone, I will be friendly to them. I'll smile and wave. Well, actually, they can't see me smile because I have a freaking face mask on. But I think it's important that if it's always good to be friendly to people, and it's always good to treat people with respect. If you are a friendly person, you'll find that people are more friendly towards you. And this is something like Lewis was telling me about. He told me that he didn't find people in his neighborhood to be too friendly, and I said, well, it depends how you see it, because I meet people, and yeah, it's like I don't think people are grouchy. I think New Yorkers keep to themselves. If you don't know a person, you kind of just keep to yourself. But people like there was a neighbor who was coming out of a car, and he was like, "Hey, Erica," and I was like, "Hey." And I was taking out the trash, so I looked like absolute crap, right? Because but I was taking out the trash, and I just waved and things like that. So it's really important to be friendly to people, because you might think like people are grouchy, but maybe they're not used to being friendly. And in Hawaii, people are so friendly. You will have people, it's like if they haven't seen you in a while, even if you barely know them, like they want to give you a kiss on the cheek, they want to give you a hug. In New York, oh, definitely not with this situation. Like you don't want to hug people or kiss people or things like that. But if you want to see sunny people, I would say go to Hawaii, and you'll see maybe like the sunshine hits you, and you're just gonna be, happy and like smiley. And yeah, there's people in Hawaii tend to be happier, I think, because they don't have to deal with no-see-ums. They have the beautiful ocean typically to look at. They can go to the beach. They got the sunshine. And the weather is nice and warm. It's like I think it's like probably 70 or 80 degrees right now in Honolulu, Hawaii, versus I don't know. It's probably cold. It's like 30 something, like maybe like high 30s right now in New York. So yeah, I would recommend that. I think that's why people in Hawaii are so freaking sunny. Yeah. Yeah, Lewis is not the most sociable person. I'm a lot more sociable than him. And then it's something because like when people want to meet Lewis, like sometimes I can see people being all like, "Oh my goodness!" Like you can see, like if you see the way people look at him, sometimes they'd be like, and they look at me, and they're not like, "Hey, Erica," they're like, "Where's Lewis?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm like a freaking sign that says like Lewis nearby or something." But yeah, there are some people, it's like they just get all like awe inspiring of him, and I don't know, it's like I think sometimes it kind of like freaks him out based on like certain people's reaction about him. But for me, I'm like, "Hey, you want to talk? Like, I'll talk to you." And people are like, "Oh, damn it, it's this chick again." It's like they think of me like I feel like a grenade sometimes. But yeah, dating Lewis, like sometimes I consistently feel like a grenade. People are like, "Oh, damn it, it's her. Damn it, I can't get him alone because she's with him. Damn it." Yeah. So, um, yeah, that's just yeah. I am more social than him. For sure. I am more social, but yeah, it's yeah, it's I don't know. Sometimes I think he should just like walk right into it and been like, but he's not like me, and that's okay. He is just he is Blackberry. This is where she's going. But yeah, that's okay. It you got, but yeah, you can clearly tell when people are like checking him out, and it's only men that do this. I might have shared with you guys one time. I was walking out of the store, and there was this guy right in front of it, because the store has glass windows, right? So there was this guy outside of the glass window, and I walked out the door, and he was like, "Oh, I know you. I've seen you on YouTube." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, hey, thanks for watching the YouTube." And he tells me, he's like, "Is Lewis inside?" And I'm like, it's just like, it's like that, and you could just see like he was looking forward to possibly meeting Lewis. And like the responsible girlfriend I am, you know what I did? I opened the door and I was like, "Yeah, he's right there, Lewis. Someone wants to talk to you." And then I went off on my merry way. But nah, it was completely fine. But it's like, if you meet someone that you are in awe of, like, just don't treat them like they're like just treat them like a normal person. And like, he has a day job. People have a day job. I don't see anybody being all like, "Oh my goodness, that is my garbage man. Oh my goodness, like I want to meet my garbage." Like, nobody does that. Like, you would be like, "Hey, garbage man," that kind of stuff. Or hey plumber, like that kind of stuff. It's not, it's you don't have this like excited reaction about it. But some people, I think they just get excited about it. And yeah, it's a little so, after 97% audience, it's going to be mostly men. Yeah, mostly men recognize him, and that's why I give him so much crap about it. He's like, if he knew he'd have 2 million subs, I don't think he would have been anonymous. I think that, no, I'm not jealous of him getting hit by other men. In fact, I find it humorous. I find it humorous when I come across like people and they're just like, "Notice me, senpai." And it's just like, not everybody is like that, but you see a few people like that, and I just think it's kind of cute and kind of charming, because yeah, it's like Lewis is just living his own life, and there's some people who are like, "Oh my goodness." So if you meet someone that you admire, highly admire, just don't be a like, be like, "Hey, you know what? I love your work. I love what you do. Uh, yeah, it's really nice to meet you." I don't know if people shake hands now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, just treat them like normal individuals. Some people are as no, I don't know. It looks like they're more like get hyped 2020 or something, get hyped 2021 kind of thing. When they see them, but yeah, for me, I'm like, okay. So, but I think sometimes that happens, when you see people who are YouTubers, and then people are like, "Oh my goodness, I've never seen that YouTuber before." People can get kind of into that. When you see that's the only kind, no, 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 no. I was actually thinking about it. Like, if I had more money to invest in, let's just think about it. If I had more money, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like at a crossroads or what to do, because like I look at my stock portfolio, and of course you guys know I have Apple, as Apple is part of my portfolio. It's one of my biggest holdings, but it's not the biggest holding. But when I look at Apple, and I think, man, Apple stock is like that DJ Khaled song. All I do is win. That one. Like, when I think of Apple and Amazon, I think about that song, and I think like, man, just think there might be a person who is like like a Tesla or an Apple, and then a Tesla or a Lamborghini, and man, can you imagine like having a Apple stock is not rising. Apple stock went up like 3% today, if I remember correctly. No, it went up. It went up like 2-3%. If you look at the year growth, they did go up. They did go up. Don't just look at like single week thing, but like, look, it's going up. It's going up. I think it's like 134 right now. I might be remembering it wrong. But yeah, today was a pretty good stock day. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, man, there must be a person. I would love to see a person with like a Lambo that has the license plate like Apple or Apple One. Like, can you imagine that? APPL and then one. That would be great. That would be great. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a pipe dream, but if I ever had a Lambo, I would definitely want to have a license plate called Apple One just to troll. Just to troll and just be like, "Okay, okay." That would be kind of funny, I think. Oh, and in case you guys didn't know, I am going to get the newest MacBook in 2021. I'm just, waiting, waiting. Apple buying is stock. Apple buying is always going to be a trend. Apple is going to be really really good. So I think. No, I don't have it yet. People have been telling me to hold off, so I held off on my MacBook. And yeah, I'm committed to. I'm committed to seeing how my stocks do in 2021. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like the part of me is like hyped up, but the other part of me thinks like maybe February it's gonna all go down or something. And I'm like, damn it. Go buy a junker and get the Apple One just to get the customized. I don't know. I would just go. I don't know. Like I don't know what kind of car I would get. That's the other thing. Like I think eventually I'm gonna have to get a car. How long do you use one MacBook before you buy a new one? Okay, this Clio is 8 years old. Clio is a 2012 MacBook. So I love her very much. And she is not going into e-waste. I am keeping Clio when I get my newer MacBook, for sure. I'm going to remember this is like my first Apple MacBook. We'll see how many I collect in my lifetime. I'll get Clio 1, and then my next MacBook will be Clio 2, aka C2. And the next computer after that will be Clio 3 or C3, and then I'll just have a bunch of MacBooks as I get older, and hopefully Apple stock price keeps rising up. I think Apple stock price is gonna rise up. Yeah, I'll have my little bunch of Apple computers. I'll be very happy with it. And when it comes down to it, I do love my MacBook. How many times have I need to get my MacBook repaired? I've gotten basically every single part on Clio replaced or repaired. I got a keyboard, I got the I/O cable, I got the logic board. Let's see what else we got. Backlight, that backlight thingy, fuse, whatever, had an issue, and then the logic board repair. So Clio had a lot of repairs on her. No, she actually had to get the keyboard fixed twice. One I went to Apple for that, and then the other one, well, you guys know what happened with the other one. I did a stream and then Lewis lost his. He was like, David, this is taking too long, so he just did it himself. I didn't realize how hard it is. How much money would I've said you spent on repairs? More than the cost of a Clio, that's for sure. I love my MacBook. But yeah, that's the downside with having a MacBook. It works, but you kind of know that there's going to be a cost premium to have a MacBook. So it's no different than having, let's say, like a Mercedes Benz or a BMW. If your car breaks down, that's going to cost you way more than having a Toyota, right? But people get those cars because it just works for them. They love having that experience. I knew someone who had a Mercedes, and they said that they never ever ever want to go back to like a regular car because they just love their Mercedes so much. I think was it Sunny? He says like the Tesla inside wasn't that great. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but yeah, some people, they just really like having their luxury cars, their BMWs, their Mercedes, their Audis, and you know what? That works for them. I think that for a car, I kind of think that a car just gets you from one place to another, and if you don't need all those, if you don't need all those like gadgets or something like that, then just get a cheapy car. Just just get a Toyota Corolla or something, or get an older car, and then just work with that and save your money and invest it in something else. Invest it in like an ETF, invest it in stocks, because if you sell your car, you're not going to make more money off of that. Like, cars are a depreciating asset. It's Yeah, so I never understood personally, like maybe it's because I never had to drive very much, but I never understood like why people would get like a luxury car, especially if it would take such a huge chunk of their income, and then say, oh yeah, well, it's like I rather have to like, they're okay having these like high bills that's partially funded because of their their expensive car. So for me, like, if I wanted a car, I would want to buy it outright for sure. I would not want to go on this like car payment thing. I'm 100% for buying a used car. I have a 2001 Toyota Corolla in Hawaii. I think it was like $2,000 or something. I know it was big bucks over here, but it's just, it's like a basic car. It has like the fabric interior. It's not a looker, but it's a car. I rather have money spent in a stock portfolio than a freaking car. Yeah. Uh, Tesla. Sonny uses his Tesla for content pieces. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, how much videos can you make on your freaking Tesla? When are we gonna go on the house hunt again? I saw this one. I saw this one house. I forgot where it was. I think it was in Wisconsin, and it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was a gorgeous house, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous house. And I thought to myself, like, I want to live there. It looks like it was like a mid-century modern house, and Lewis liked it a lot too. But the only problem is that, well, it's so far away. So it's just one of those houses where you look at it and you're like, that's such a gorgeous house. But yeah, and the price was not too bad. It was like, I think it's like 300,000, and it's not bad in comparison to like New York real estate. Like, you look at the houses here in New York, you're looking at like 800,000, over a million. Yeah, it's expensive. And then unfortunately, houses in Hawaii are very expensive as well. The Sunshine Tropical Island State, that one. Yeah, housing is not cheap over there. Very, very sad. Ooh, look at this. So, 2001 Ford Ranger pickup. Yeah, you know what? It's better. See, I think like it's better to just spend your money on your hobby, your arcade games, rather than your vehicle. It's not like you're going to be spending all, your hobby is going to be sitting inside of your car driving, for unless you're driving for a long distance. So, if you can free up money and then put it into other stuff, that's a smarter thing. I am not a fan of leasing cars. I'm not a fan of just buying new cars for the hell of it. Some people, if they can afford it, they can buy it outright, then I have no problem with it. But it bothers me when I hear about people who get these new cars and they're on a tight budget anyway, and they get the cars and then they struggle to make the car payment, and then stuff happens and they worry about their car getting repossessed. And if they had just gotten a cheaper car, like not a looker, right? Instead of getting, let's say, a $30,000 car, you get something like outright, like a $5,000 car. That is a much better thing to do, than just have like the feeling of debt go over you. So I'm a big fan of purchasing things outright, unless, let's say, you can write that off as like a business expense. Then I can understand why some people lease cars. But if you're just like an average Joe and you're like, hey, I wanna get this expensive car, and I know a bunch of people like this. I want to get this expensive car because I just want it. And I will struggle to make the payments, but I want to get the expensive car because it's an expensive car. Like, I don't think that's the right mindset to have. It's years, maybe, years of car payments and possible stress down the line. So just buy a used car, buy a cheaper car. If you're single and you're worried about some chick judging you about having a crappy car, then all you gotta do is just say stuff like, I don't feel like I should invest my money in a car that's a depreciating asset. Instead, I rather invest it into investments instead, or save my money so I can make a larger thing, right? Like oh, and that reminds me. That reminds me. I knew this one person who who and this wasn't my friend, but this was like a friend of a friend. Okay, so they were single and they didn't know what to do, right? They were single, they never had a girlfriend, but they had a pretty good job ish, right? And what they decided to do, wait, they had a job that was I think around 40K or so. And what they decided to do is they said, okay, I know how to get chicks. So what they did is they bought a brand new $60,000 car and they had to make car payments on it. So they thought by having this car, and I know it wasn't a BMW, it wasn't a Mercedes, it wasn't an Audi. It was like some other brand that it's like it escapes my mind, but it's not one of the flasher brands, but it was kind of up there. Um, they got this car and then they got it with the intention of impressing a chick. Now here's the problem with that thing, okay? Let's say it's 2015 when he got this car. You get the car 2015, you could be like, hey girl, I got a brand new car. It's a 2015. Oh, it's a 2015. Oh, great. What happens next year? Oh, yeah, I got a car. It's a 2015 model. Now, mind you, you're 2016, right? And you'd be like, oh, yeah, I have a 2015 model. Oh, okay, so you got your car last year. Yeah, I got my car last year. Okay. 2017. Oh, I got a 2017 car. Oh, oh, so you got it like 2 years ago? Yeah, I got it 2 years ago. 2018. Then you got a 4-year-old car. No, you got a three. Wait, 2018. Yeah, that's a 3-year-old car, and then 2019 that would be a 4-year-old car. So as the car gets older, if you're trying to buy a car to appeal to a woman, that is not going to attract a woman at all because she's gonna be like, what the hell, this guy's a 4-year-old car and he's just trying to show off like he just bought it brand new. Yeah, and I've heard that because I've had that used on me as well, where someone's like, hey, I bought this car brand new 4 years ago. I'm like, oh, good on you for buying a car 4 years ago. Is that's supposed to impress me or something? But yeah, so do not go in this whole thing where you buy a brand new car for the sake of telling women that you bought a brand new car. You're better off just buying an older car. You shouldn't just spend your money on buying a new car to impress someone, because what if you don't get someone within that year? What if you don't find anyone compatible with you? You're gonna be out tens of thousands of dollars possibly on a freaking car, and you really shouldn't lead. You shouldn't lead with your car. You really shouldn't. You and I remember one of my family members told me something that was very, very, very wise. Okay, they told me this. They said, Erica, a person's car doesn't impress me. And I said, really? It doesn't? And they said, no, I'm not impressed by a person's car. I'm not impressed by a person's watch. I'm impressed by the size of a person's house. And I was like, because if you know the price of real estate in Hawaii, if you have a house like that is like 700, 800,000 upwards and going up. So if you have all your funds vested into like a watch, in a car, on your shoes, on your wallet, like that isn't smart at all. So I think it's important for people to save their money, invest their money, buy quality stuff. But I'm always a big supporter of buying used. You guys know that. I'm a real big fan of buying things like pre-loved, pre-owned, because that way you don't have to take the depreciation cost. So for cars, no one is going. Okay, so for cars, no one who actually values you will really care about how, if you got the car new or used. I think it's pretty accepted that a lot of people buy their car used anyway. If you took Tesla and BMW and put them on the a blender, you'd have the Apple of cars. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm curious to see how the Apple car looks like. I'm definitely gonna keep my peepers open for that. Yeah, I like Corollas. I like Corollas because they're reliable, they are cheap. The used Corollas, you can't really go wrong with it. And Like I said, don't lead with your car. I know some people, they're really tempted to lead with the freaking vehicle. If you can afford it comfortably and you want to buy a car, then go for it. But my take is just like, just keep investing your money in stuff. Keep investing your money in stuff. You're better off doing something like early retirement. And while people are driving off in their, car payment cars and decked out in their luxury goods, you can just be like, well, I have a little bit more of a nest egg. So I'm more comfortable having financial security than I am, being around all these luxury items. And this is stuff, by the way, that I've gotten criticized from over the years. I remember there was this one person who used to tell me stuff like, Erica, I think it's really sad that you will go off into these department stores. You'll see all these like nice handbags that you want, and you won't buy them. Like, why don't you treat yourself? You can afford it. Why don't you treat yourself to a handbag? And I told them, I said, look, it's not that I can't afford it. It's not because I'm punishing myself, but I don't buy it because I don't need it. I have so many handbags at home. If I buy another handbag, is that really going to add to my happiness? No, it doesn't. And I'm pretty fickle with handbags. I have a bunch of handbags, and it's like, yeah, I don't need more bags. So, um, when it came, a few years later, it came out that this person was having financial problems. And part of the reason why they were having financial problems, and I never brought it up to them, is because I knew their spending habits. So when you have money, instead of impulsively just spending it on stuff and think like I deserve it, or I should treat myself. I think it's important to take a step back and ask yourself, will this help me advance any long-term goals? Like, I can go out and I could have bought a newer MacBook, like 2013, 2014, 2000. I could have bought a new MacBook every year if I wanted to, but I chose not to because I was like, I don't need to upgrade my freaking computer every year. So, yeah, it's for me, I think it's better to have financial security and just be frugal rather than just kind of like spend money. So that's why, if any of you guys are single out there, I don't want people to think like, if you're dating someone or if you want to date someone, then you need to shower them with gifts or something. Because if you are in a really stable relationship, you're going to realize like you don't need to do that. You don't need to just kind of deck yourself out in luxury goods, or keep buying like luxury items for your significant other. Because what really matters in a relationship is not what you're getting each other, or not what you're surrounded with, but it's really like each other, right? That's why they say, like, for things like in marriage, right? They say through richer, through poor, through sickness and health. The people really matter. It's not the item. So I would not. I do support looking good, but I don't support in just decking yourself with luxury items because it's luxury items. I've also known people who go into financial debt because they spend all their money on luxury items, and then as a couple, they end up in a bad situation because they're just like, I'm just gonna keep buying luxury items and things like that. Or even the home decor stuff adds up. We have about like $400, $300, $400 worth of fake flowers around this apartment, believe it or not. And yeah, it's kind of crazy how this stuff adds up, but it just kind of pops up. So, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I wouldn't use candles because I think that's kind of it's kind of like one of those fire hazards. I'm kind of worried about that, so I don't feel comfortable. For me personally, like, some people like the candles, they can handle the candles, but with three cats running around, I rather have the LED candles instead. Or yeah, or yeah, those massage oils are not bad, but it's greasy. It's so greasy. If it's anything like if it's anything like, you hear about like all those greasy stuff going all over the place. That's not good. Let's see. What did I say? What am I reading about this free stuff going on? It's free upfront, and only when you get a job it's 20%. Oh, Wow, Clinton just jumped over Oreo. Oreo, come here. Tup tup. Let's see, we're right little. Come on, come here. Look at this guy. The influencers here. Okay. At least luxury items can be resold. Not really. You know what the problem is? Is like if you if you buy luxury items, you actually you there's actually a lot of competition because there's a fear of the luxury item being fake. So that is not good. Oh, computer courses. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see anything bad about computer courses at all. Use a school. Okay. Yeah, I don't see all the messages on here sometimes. I guess it's kind of hidden. Who knows? But yeah, just live within your means, and if you live within your means and make sure that you watch your spending. Try to get the more frugal option. I'm a big fan of that. If you are spending your money on a lot of stuff, see if you can do it cheaper. Like if you're spending a lot of money on, let's say, face serums, trying to make your own face serums because that way you're saving money. We're in a world now when prices slowly get attached to what the product is actually is. We're already I don't know. Sometimes I look at this stuff and I'm like, oh gosh, some certain stuff I'm like, but it's all about what consumers are willing to pay. You know, if a consumer is willing to pay $600 for a keychain holder, then and it sells, then okay, great. You have a lot of overpriced stuff though. Do you recommend store brand over name brand products? Yes. It depends though. Like for food items, like if let's say you're buying canned corn, you can't really go wrong buying the generic brand over the store name brand. But of course, try both and see how that adds up. Like sugar, right? Like white granulated sugar or flour. Uh, can you really go wrong buying the CVS brand versus like gold medal brand? Name brand? No, not really. Oreos is a little tricky though. Oreo cookies, because sometimes you have like good Oreo cookies, or sometimes you have like the crappy generic Oreo cookies. It all depends. So yeah, Oriole's doing good. He wants more food. I see that cat. He's like, feed me, feed me. So anyway, I need to get going. I got a bunch of stuff that I have to do that I haven't been doing since I had this stream on my mind, and I wanted to share this like stream of thought. That's why it's like I don't really do very well with editing, because with editing, it's like I have to think about what I say, and it's like, okay, just make it clear and concise, and just like talk to the camera and say what you want to say. But then there might be other things that show up on my mind, and I prefer doing live streaming because live streaming I can interact with you guys. If you guys can share, advice with one another or share advice with me, and I really appreciate it. I think it's like a little group. So I like doing these kind of live streams because it's a little bit more active than just me da 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 da. I do want to actually make a stream, and this might be a rehash of things that you've heard before, but I want to make a stream with Lewis, or make a video with Lewis, and have like say like why I think it's going to be very hard for him to talk Apple users out of why I think it's going to be hard for him to talk out Apple users from using Apple products. My thinking is that you will just have more and more people buying Apple products, unless other companies directly take on Apple head on. I don't really see any company that has the same integration like Apple. I guess like maybe Samsung has a few things. I know they got the Samsung Watch, they got the Samsung phone, they got the Galaxy. I think it's the Galaxy Tab. But yeah, like nobody's really excited about that stuff. And Lenovo, I don't know. They just make that stink pad, and that's about it. Like I don't know if they make any tablets of sorts. So I think Apple is going to continue rocking, and Oreo is doing their kind of thing for attention or food. Um, no, $50 for used bathwater. That was actually a kooky move, but it worked. People bought it. Isn't Apple a luxury good, and with the coming people won't be able to afford Apple? I disagree with you, and I'd say it for this reason. I think that you're if like 85% of the population, or like 50% of the population was completely broke, then yes, they would take a hit on sales. But you have a bunch of people, from what I can see online and from what I can see on the streets, you have more people who don't really care. They still have a job. Maybe they have decreased funds, but if you have decreased funds, you have to think carefully of how you're going to spend your money. One of the ways you can save money is spending more time online. So if you spend your time, like more time watching YouTube videos, watching, reading articles on the internet instead of, let's say, buying books, then that's where Apple can fit in. You can get a MacBook and say, well, this is a product that works for me. And yes, it is more expensive, but I'm cutting a lot of my spending to focus on an Apple product. And I think we're going to see more people with focused mindsets about how they allocate their money. We're going to see less, or yeah, we're going to see less. I think we're going to see less impulsive buys, or less crap spending. I was really curious to see how, let's say, home decor is going to be, not like home decorations, not home decor. Home decorations are going to be selling moving forward, because I think some of the stuff, like I said, like this stuff kind of freaking adds up. It adds up really quickly. There's only so much vases a person needs in their apartment. There's only so much fake flowers a person needs in their apartment. So if you have to do really focused spending, and you think like, okay, I want to buy something and I want to make sure I use it every day. I want to make sure it's a good quality item. And most people will think of buying an Apple product versus buying something like a Lenovo. I know Lewis is on team Lenovo over here, but the marketing just isn't there. The marketing isn't there. There's nothing to get excited about it. When you see like an Apple ad, you know how it kind of like shifts. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like you see the Apple ad, they talk about the display, and then they move it and you can see the sleek lines. Like you cannot do that. I don't see those ads with the Lenovo. There's nothing exciting about that stuff. So when people think like, I want to buy a new computer, they're gonna think about buying a MacBook, or buying an iPad instead. It comes down to marketing. I think that if PC makers want to up it, then I need to see more of their computer ads. But I don't see anything else on YouTube getting advertised to me except Apple products. And if I had seen a ThinkPad ad, I would have shared it with it. But nobody is excited about the latest Lenovo except people who are really into computers, who are, considered the nerds, or familiar with what's going on. But the average consumer, there's more people like me, the average consumer, than there are people who know how to build their own computers. Um, and maybe it's because of your searches. Actually, you know what? Here's the thing: if you are searching for certain things, that is the key period. Send me something from a competitor, right? I mean, if you show an interest in Apple products, I would love to see a Lenovo commercial, because it would kind of sink to my mind, like, hey, maybe think about buying a Lenovo, or at least there's a chance about it. But if all I see are Apple ads, it's gonna sway me to buy an Apple product. You see what I'm getting at? Like I don't even look up like headphones or something like that. I've gotten AirPod commercials. I've gotten like some beauty products, and like I don't even really pay attention to them, but I know like there's certain brands that stick out to me more versus like some other brands, because I never ever see the commercials for it. Right now, I think I'm getting a lot of commercials for, I think, it L'Oreal or something like that. The one with Julia Roberts. I might be remembering it wrong. I get a lot of those commercials, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything like yeah, I'm not seeing any other real commercials. Quality, so Lenovo doesn't need to persuade users. Quality sells without ads. If you want to get new users, you need to do marketing, for sure. Because you're not gonna, if you have like this, if you how would I say? This is not like it's sriracha, okay? You know sriracha hot sauce. Sriracha hot sauce didn't need to do any ads because they didn't have any competitors. Lenovo has a ton of competitors, so it's in their best interest to kind of go all out with the ads. I would have loved to see more computer ads during this holiday season, but I didn't see any computer ads except Apple products. And I know there's more than Apple products being sold out there. So if you do not know, if you want to buy the gift of a computer to someone and you are a normal consumer, you're going to think, well, what computer should I buy? Well, I've only seen Apple ads. I'm going to buy a MacBook. See? So I don't know why it is, but I'm not seeing any other computer ads. But I'm sure as hell happy I'm not seeing HP, because any HP ad, I said it many, many times, like I would never, ever, ever buy an HP product ever again. Let's see. And people are also saying things like the newest MacBook is really, really good. So I'm not too familiar with like tech stuff, but if people are saying like this is a really good computer, it's really fast, it's like the best MacBook ever, it smokes the other MacBooks. Okay, well I feel a little bit more confident about this MacBook now. What is going to happen though is that knowing this newest computer, I know it's going to be an absolute lemon to fix possibly. So when it becomes difficult to fix, they're going to say, if third party repair can't fix it, they're going to say, well, I think you should buy another an Apple computer. And most Apple users would probably say, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna buy another Apple computer. It's just it comes with like it's one of the downsides about buying those kind of products. It's like it comes at a premium, and unfortunately the repairs come at a price premium. Like I said, I see an Apple computer similar to a luxury car. It's more expensive and it looks nicer than like the average car, but you also have more expensive repairs. I actually have a Samsung right now, so I don't use an iPhone. I use a Android phone. I prefer using an Android phone. The only Apple product that I like using is a MacBook because it just works for me. But other than that, I don't have the HomePod. I don't have the AirPods. I don't have um, the other stuff that I use all the time. But that I want to get the newest MacBook because if I get the newest MacBook, you guys can see like, okay, she got the newest MacBook. Let's see how long it lasts, and if it is, if it does break or something, right? Is it fixable? Is it fixable with third party repair, or is the solution going to be you got to pay Apple, or you got to buy a new computer, depending on what the issue is. So we will see. We will see what the issue with my new computer in 2021 is going to be. It's going to be exciting. So yeah, let's see here. Oh, I haven't seen the his and her Mercedes ones yet. My MacBook brings all the boys to the yard. Well, you have to admit it is a nice computer. It is an aesthetic computer to look at. It's nice. It's sleek. It has one color. That's it. It's this nice aluminum thing going on here, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that they got rid of this because I heard they don't have this backlight anymore, and I don't know. I like it. I like the backlight. And maybe I mean it's more to I don't know. Maybe it's just because I just got so used to the backlight, and they don't have the magnetic charger I heard anymore, and that makes me sad because I love my magnetic charger. So yeah. So it is getting darker. My goodness, it is definitely getting darker. It's like 4 p.m. right now. You can see how much it's getting darker and darker and darker. Alright, you want to come over here? Oreo. Where's my kitty? Come here, handsome. Come here. Come here. Oreo. Come on. I think he's like, damn it. I don't look at my ThinkPad. I do work, and you know what? I look at impress the ladies with your new MacBook before your new car. Um, I don't know. I don't see any downside about having a MacBook. I mean, except that it's a pain in the, it's a pain to, uh, for the cost for the repairs. Like it's so pricey, depending on certain, especially if you get water damage. So that's why it's a good thing that there's third party repair, and then you can just send it to like rossmangroup.com, and they can fix it for like much cheaper than Apple. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there's times where I like accidentally hook Cleo, so if I don't have a magnetic charger, that would not be good. It would just not be good. Yeah. But anyway, no, 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 no. You need the new car to get the lady in my 5 to see. Now, if you want to, I would say, if you're single, and this is just a recap, if you're single and you want to be in a relationship, just make sure that you continue taking care of yourself. If you feel like if whatever you're insecure about, like if you feel like if you have a little weight that you want to lose, work on losing that weight. And as you look better, as you eat healthier, as you take care of yourself more, you're gonna find out that you feel more confident, and then you'll have a better chance. It's better to improve yourself than wallow about an ex. I hope that that person that I know stops wallowing about their ex because it's been a number of years, and I really hope that they go out and meet a new person. And yeah, having a little makeover would be good. Like I said, wear nicer, like wear a dress shirt, wear slacks, wear nice shoes if you want. Just be the person that you envision yourself to be. And I think when a lot of people have images about themselves, they don't see themselves as being a person who is like in bummy looking clothes all the time, right? We always want to envision the best like the best version of ourselves, whether it be like someone who's super fit. Like some people want to have like be fit, other people would want to make sure they look stylish, and other people want to have whatever your goals are. Just follow with that. But um, if you know that you're working on a path to improve yourself, and you are actively doing that, and you also make small changes, I think that it will help people get out of their depression. It will help people move on and feel empowered to move on. And if they find someone to date, then that's great. But if not, you know what, they can say that they're in a much better place than they were, that wallowing in depression. That's all I'm trying to say over here. So um and also, I would highly recommend, in case you guys don't do this already, make sure you invest not only in taking care of your teeth and, let's say, your hair, but also your skin. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that if you do not have hydration in your skin, it can lead to like fine lines, wrinkles. You look kind of dull. And I've been trying to get Lewis to get on some kind of skincare regimen, but he's been just like, he's been fighting me against it. Like he doesn't have a skincare regimen. I don't know why. Like he doesn't want to have like serums or moisturizers really on his face. But if you take care of yourself early on, you can reduce the signs of aging. You can also like kind of turn back on some of the things. So some people, they have like fine lines, and I notice, like, for me, if my skin is really dry, you'll start seeing like really fine lines show up, but when I hydrate, it goes away. So that's why I've been kind of on the gung ho with using serums and moisturizers, just like plumping up my skin. And it's like small changes like that, I think, just adds to self confidence over time. So yeah, Sonicare toothbrushes are really good as well. They're very cleansing. I heard. I don't use one. I actually should be using one. And yeah, just so, and it's also a nice treat. I didn't realize how nourishing and how good I feel using a serum every day. So I use a serum every day, and it's just like a DIY concoction that I've just been formulating. I might tweak it, so that's why I haven't released anything. But it is I use it when I wake up. I put the serum on, and then I put additional eye cream on, and throughout the day, if I'm feeling a little dry, then I'll add more serum on my face. So my face is continually hydrated. And sometimes, like, I know my face looks like a little shiny, but I'm like, dang, at least I have hydration. Like, I can always remove the hydration and kind of like taper it down a little. but it's a very nice feeling to have a well hydrated face. You don't have to worry about like that dry skin, and it just like yeah, it's nice. So I if you guys can invest in like some kind of skincare. I know uh Chris said Neutrogena Hydro Boost is something that they use, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can find something online, or yeah, see what's available. If you want to buy any like natural skincare, I would highly recommend going on Etsy and buying something that's like all natural. I'm a big fan of Tallow Balm, Tallow balm, like tallow moisturizers. It's made out of beef fat, but the structure of it is similar to our own skin. So I believe in using that over like a lot of this chemical stuff. The only downside about it is that like some of this stuff, like when you first use it, it can seem really greasy, but give it 5 minutes and it will just like hydrate your skin and go away. Like my hands look so much better ever since I've been using tallow balm on my hands, and I usually apply it like twice a day. And yeah, I really like it. So just continue to take care of yourself, focus on yourself. If anybody is in your past, don't let them take over your mind. Don't get depressed over it, or try to keep it under check, because you need to move forward. You don't want to just kind of spend 2000 the rest of 2020, 2021 kind of like chasing or thinking about the past. Instead, spend it on yourself. Look forward to new opportunities, and progress forward. Forward. Don't go back. Go forward. Because if you go forward, that will be ways that you can change your life for the better. And yeah, I'm excited for 2021. I hope my friend is in a better place. I hope people that I know are in a better place as well. And I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, see ya.